So what is conceptual mineral photography? Well, you take mineral photography and conceptual photography, you mix them together, and out comes conceptual mineral photography. Hi, I'm Fran from Winner Speaks, and in today's video, I'm going to go over a slideshow that will have a side-by-side comparison of conceptual mineral photography versus fine mineral photography, because fine mineral photography has been around a long time. It is a respected art form. It is well known and by far the most common. And then here I come along coining a term, and now I'm going to be throwing it around. I used to call them rock portraits, but I didn't believe that that described what it is I do accurately. So conceptual mineral photography it is. And I think you will enjoy this video because it has a lot of fun in it, because I don't like being too serious. So without further ado, let's get into the
All
video.
right, who's ready for some eye candy? Let's get into these slides. The first slide is a comparison with similarities. Now, I want to say that all of my mineral specimens from the fine mineral photography, so all of those photos were taken from the same website, finemineralphotography.com. And I did that because I just love their work. I think it represents the art form very well, and it keeps things very simple. So if you have one reference, you can go there. So starting out, similarities. I'm not going to read the slide, but essentially our foundational similarities are the same. So we're always kind of focusing in on one single mineral specimen. We're always trying to find the best angle, the best lighting, and bring out the very best of that specimen. And there are actually a lot more differences than there are similarities in the art form, but the foundational things are the same. We are both capturing the essence and beauty of a single specimen. So now we've kind of established that there are definitely foundational similarities. Let's talk about those differences. I just want to say first that the main difference is the specimens. So fine mineral photography tends to focus on very expensive, unique, one-of-a-kind specimens. Now, my specimens are also one of a kind. All minerals are, but mine tend to be more common in that they're not the most expensive specimens, or they're more everyday specimens. Some of them are micro mounts, some of them are quite small. I don't work with large specimens typically. The largest specimen I think I've worked with is about 4 to 5 inches. Some of the mineral specimens, you don't really get a concept for scale on the fine mineral photography, but some of them can be quite large. And you kind of lose a little bit of just how whoa they are when you lose some of that scale. But anyway, I digress. And so they do all their work in studio. I actually like to go outside more than studio work. I do like studio work in some ways. So you definitely control the lighting, which is nice. But I really enjoy getting out there in nature. So kind of torn, but I get the flexibility to do it all. So I do. So back to more comparisons, kind of more differences. Um, my my art form, I could be more playful. So I get to really get out there on a limb and just do some outrageous stuff. I actually like making funny portraits as well as beautiful aesthetic portraits. And I think a lot of the specimens that I work with, because they are common, are definitely more down to earth and relatable to most people. Somebody could think of maybe a specimen that they have that's similar, and just think, oh my goodness, there it is. And I think that's appealing. So anyway, my work is very subjective. I used to put words all the time with my photography, but I don't do that anymore. Now I allow for a little more room for your own interpretations. But it is Winner Speaks, and they do speak to me. But I try to convey that more subtly now and let photography, or the photo, speak to you in the way that it speaks to you. So kind of shifted a little bit from when I first started this business. Okay, more comparisons. So more differences. The other thing is that I I like specimens that I can touch and work with my hands. So my specimens are often not the look but don't touch type specimens. I definitely work with, you know, your average toxic minerals and radioactive minerals and such sometimes, but but pretty much I can touch them and put them in my pocket and carry them with me. And there's just something I really like about that. They're very personal to me, and that's why they speak to me, and they're a lot more fun. So I just feel like I can just be my childish self when I'm doing this type of photography. And it's not that I don't want to capture the beauty, because I do want to capture the beauty of this specimen, but I get to kind of play around with other themes and concepts while I'm at it. So yay. So one of the differences I wanted to bring up would be the use of this type of photography. So my photography, I would use it for educational pieces. I've actually been commissioned to do work like this one in this slide here, where it was for a geologist who wanted to convey the everyday use of minerals. As a matter of fact, I work in a mining museum, and in that museum, we have a whole section called What's Mined is Yours. And it's a whole section about this very concept of how minerals are in our everyday life. So that's really fun, and that can only be conveyed with conceptual mineral photography. But the fine mineral photography is very archival. It is very historical. It is capturing a mineral in a form that, if God forbid something happened to that mineral, we would have a detailed, accurate representation of that mineral. It's great for catalogs, magazines, and just eye candy. I mean, look at this stuff. It's absolutely gorgeous. So a little bit of different uses for this type of art form. And I think they both have a place. And I'd love to hear your ideas or your opinions in the comments below. All right. So, what are the advantages to both types of photography? I'm not going to get into it too much here, but I think that conceptual mineral photography has the advantage of scale. I kind of already had talked about that before, um, but it really does. I really think that helps you get a feel for the size of the mineral when I'm working with somewhat familiar materials in elements. I also like that I get to put colors into the art that bring out the colors of the mineral. Does it take your eye away from the mineral at times? It does, but I also think that it adds a little touch to it as well. Um, and I think one of the advantages to the fine mineral photography is that lack of distraction, right? So, it's debatable. It depends on what you're trying to do. But yeah, sometimes, there might be something in the background of one of my pieces that gets a little too much more of the attention than the specimen. Um, but it's just different. So I dabbled a little bit in jewelry photography. And I created this slide because when I was on findmineralphotography.com, I saw this piece on there and just loved the mineral that's in the background that they're using to, you know, uh, showcase this piece of jewelry. The jewelry is beautifully designed. The photography is absolutely gorgeous. And I know how hard mineral photography and jewelry photography is. So I can really appreciate it on a technical level. Uh, but man, that mineral specimen is so gorgeous. I just want to like take a picture of that specimen. So that's kind of where my heart is at. And when I did my playing around with jewelry photography, I also used minerals in addition to the gems and the jewels. So so I get it. You don't want your specimens that are supporting your jewelry to take over. Um, so anyway, I kind of dabbled once. It's very hard and very challenging, and definitely don't do it very often. So what am I trying to say? Well, what am I trying to say in this art piece? What do you think I'm trying to say? So that's what I'm talking about. I'm saying a lot, but I'm saying something simple. But what does it mean to you? So when I made this, I titled it that beauty is not skin deep. But maybe to you, it means beauty brings out more, or makeup brings out beauty, or makeup can be applied to anything. And look at what it did to this rock. It changed it, and maybe for the better. I definitely think it highlighted some of the features of the rock. I think you get a little taste of the texture by having applied the makeup. So, it was fun. It was conceptual, and I think it has a little bit different meaning for everybody. If you're looking for mineral photography that has a fun side
that conveys some aspect or property of the mineral, then Winter Speaks is your place to go. Uh, in this piece on this slide, for example, I saw a shark going like this and opening its mouth, and it reminded me of a shark's mouth. And so I wanted to do like a land shark theme, and that's what it means to me. Just like the other picture we just saw, there was a meaning for me. But maybe for you, when you look at this, you don't see a shark. Maybe you see, I don't know, a surfboard or something, or surfs up or waves. I don't know. But that's why I don't really add words too much unless unless it's a humor piece. I typically won't add words anymore to my images. That way, I don't take from you anything that you're seeing or that you're getting out of the piece. All right, well, this video is turning out to be a little bit long. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and leave comments down below what you think about this art form and any ideas you might have, maybe other different videos you would like to see. I'm definitely up for whatever suggestions you might have. Thanks again for watching. Bye.